heard this constantly, that men are not leaders. No relationship I know operates without us making it happen. And women typically will say yay or nay. Would you guys agree?
Yeah. Okay. I agree. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
In that dynamic, he is leader. In that dynamic, always. There is no change of the guard, because it was facilitated by him petitioning. And I don't know why this is such a struggle, because it's, you go from being single, right, as a young lady, to now having someone. I got a boyfriend, or I got a husband, or whatever, right? But someone had to invite that, right? He's leader. Is that fair to say, or is that a hard concept to understand?
I don't think it's a hard concept to understand. I think to a certain degree it is fair to say that they lead the efforts in the relationship. But even going back to what Illa was stating, right? Even that man that's quote unquote passive that got with that woman who is, the CEO over a company, he might have facilitated leading that relationship, but he's not the leader of his home. So I still go back to my main topic that all men are not necessarily leaders. And I think some men have to learn how to be leaders, just like some women have to learn how to be in their femininity and nurture, be quote unquote a woman in the relationship, or have those womanly attributes. I think it's just something that people as humans sometimes have to learn depending on their history.
Todd, what does leading a home mean? What that mean? What that look like?
Can I get a chance to chime in on the question? Yeah. Because I just want to point out that because you're the one that is asking a question, because when you ask to be in a relationship with a woman, when you ask for her hand in marriage, she has to give you the affirmative or the negative, right? She has to be the one. She is the deciding factor in whether or not it moves forward past that point. So once you've made the decision that you want to be in a relationship or you want to get engaged to this woman, she still has to agree to that. So it's a dual situation of people deciding how to move forward. If she decides to move forward with a man who she deems to be a leader because she desires to follow, she will say yes. If she deems you not to be a leader, she will say no. If a woman is with a man, or she's propositioned by a man who's not a leader, but she does not desire a leader, she will say yes. If he acts like he needs to be in leadership and she does not desire a leader, she will say no. So she still has the decision whether or not that person is a leader or is not a leader. It just depends on what she wants. So just like what Bo said, it is what the dynamic requires. She's going to choose what works for her. And because she is the one who says yes or no, you can't say he's the leader in that situation just because he asked a question. A question's a question. Employees ask questions all the time. Kids ask questions. Everybody asks questions. You're not going to tell me that simply because somebody asked a question, can I get a promotion, boss? Can I get a raise? No.
Pretty,
yo, you love to complain though, man.
Hey,
yo, she's funny, yo.
I don't mean a leader.
Wait a minute. Hey, hold on. I need to bring what's in the back chat to here.
Please do.
I said all men are not leaders is the thing. Aisha agreed. Humble Dad disagreed and said all men are leaders. So I asked him what qualifies all men to be leaders. He said the mustache man was a leader. What in the world is the baby?
Can I answer that? That's easy.
I don't want to lose the spirit of what I was saying, and then we can definitely expound upon that. I'm not trying to.
No, I really want to know why in the world anyone would bring up a degenerate German piece of trash and say that he was not a leader.
Yes, he was. Just because you don't like him don't mean he wasn't a leader. You about to say something stupid, aren't you?
He was a dictator. He was an evil piece of crap. That's what he was. And you bringing that up, and I'm really glad you did, proves the fact that all men are not leaders. That man unalived so many people.
That still don't change the fact that he was a leader.
You think that man should have been? That man was not a leader. That man was a dictator. That is much different. And if you...
No, it's not. No, it's not at all.
what you're saying is just stupid and rambling, and you're in your emotions right now. That guy definitely was a leader. He definitely was. Just because you don't like the route the leader chose, don't change the fact he was a leader. That's meth, what you're doing.
Think that is a leader? Then that proves that you do not know what a leader is. You know what a dictator is. And that is
talking emotionally.
That's not necessarily true.
Hold on, I got it, Kiana. I got it. I'll explain. I'll teach the lesson. Okay. The word is leader. If you would provide a general understanding or definition of a leader, right? If you would you be able to tell me what a leader is? And I guarantee you, all the things that you would say will constitute that the person that I said is a leader. The thing that you need to get to is who is a good leader and who is a bad leader. Because there is a such thing as a good man and there's a such thing as a bad man. Words do matter. So when we say that all men are not leaders, that is not a true statement. All men are leaders, okay? Because that is their natural born state of where God has put them as the leaders. Now, women have the opportunity to decide which men they want to be their leader. And then,
well, in America, they have that option. You know, if society falls apart, do they have that option?
As a result of you saying, yes, I want this dude to be my leader, you are saying that you're falling under his headship, and you are saying that you believe that he is a good leader. That is why you are following him. However, there are women that will follow bad leaders. So, once again, since you're trying to educate me, all men are leaders. And so as a result of it, it is your decision on how you determine what a good leader is. And oftentimes, women do a bad job of selecting what a good leader is. And so
well, we can't say that all men are leaders if we also agree that there's such thing as passive men. I don't think you can say that. But what we can say is all men have the capability to be, that's not even true. There's an actual percentage of men who cannot be a leader. They can't be a leader. But in the general population of men can be, they can be trained to be leaders. But all men cannot be leaders. All men can't. Just like all women cannot be nurturers. They all cannot be. You can train most women into being nurturers, but all of them cannot be this thing. There is no absolute. But I don't know if he's just speaking absolute or not. Hopefully he's not.
Continue to, as in general, continue to put all men in the box that you said that you did not want to be designed as just all men are not leaders. When in fact, all men are leaders. Some are good, some are bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to respond to that. First things first, you answered my question in my question was, what qualifies all men to be leaders? And you use the mustache man. So that means to say, excuse me, did you see how quiet I was when you were speaking? I really appreciate that. Now, I got my question answered by you saying that Mustache Man was a leader. That is what you deemed a leader because that's how you answered my question. So
he was a leader. You're still in your emotions.
I was not educating you. I was responding to your answer to my question. Now, if you would like to give me an answer of an actual leader and stop trying to do this good leader, bad leader thing, you know what we're talking about. You know what women are talking about when we say all men are not leaders. I'm not saying that all men are not leaders. I'm saying every man is not a leader. And you know exactly what that means. So when you say that the little mustache man was a leader, you are saying that you are pointing to that being an example of what a leader should be. I am asking you, what qualifies it as a leader? Because you all want us to pick a man to lead. You want men to lead. And what you're saying is you can pick a man to lead us, we can pick a man to lead us to hell or not.
Correct.
Yeah, but he's still the leader. You heard how you said, pick a man to lead us to hell. He is still a leader.
We are not talking about that. And you know full well we are not talking about a leader, any type of leader. We are talking about men who want to lead us. It has to be. We are obviously talking about good leaders. You're talking about any type of leader. You know what we're talking about.
No,
So I want my question answered by somebody else, because you already answered it with the
I can't.
What qualifies? Excuse me. What qualifies all men to be leaders?
One that has a vision, that one that has a standard in which he follows.
Do you feel?
Another one is that he is an individual that's able to get people together and get them on the same page with him. Right? That is a leader. Now, as it relates to good and bad, I think a bad leader or a good leader is a person that has integrity. A person that has integrity, a man that has a moral compass, a man that we said before that does exactly what he says that he believes is right and true and stands on it. That, and a man that raises his kids, the man that protects his wife spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally.
This is like an emotional conversation. This is not what a leader is. This is just, are y'all just speaking about which society deems as a good leader right now? Because I don't think these things that everybody's saying are facts.
And he does the exact same thing for his family. As well as when he goes into the community, he is in the community to help the community thrive and move forward. Those are some of the things I would say that a good leader is.
That's pretty broad.
I think it's strange that you would
That
say
wasn't my question.
Okay.
That was not my question.
Just let Kiana speak. She's trying so hard.
If all men are leaders, if every man is a leader, what qualifies all men to be leaders? You're still not answering my question.
Hold on, HD. Let's go let Kiana get in and True get in.
I just don't understand why it's so problematic to say that the mustache man was a leader. He was a leader. He got a bunch of people to maybe do something that is subjectively good, but the people who signed up to do it weren't forced. All of them weren't forced. Many of them chose to follow him. We're not describing the ethics behind the leadership in that situation. We're discussing the qualities that makes him a leader. Now, do I think all men are capable of being leaders and have traits that can help make them leaders? Yes. Do I think all men fall in line with that and nurture those qualities? No. So that's why some people are meant to be on the team and some people are meant to be the captain. But I do think men, their nature does tend to lead them towards that if they nurture those traits. But
not all can be like, even if you nurtured it, not all, but majority.
With the mustache man thing, like, don't get caught up on what is subjectively good, because like I said, the people who followed him by choice thought he did something that was subjectively good in their sight. It was his ability to lead them that made him great to those people, and that's what he's discussing. It's not that he did a great thing, but to someone he did.
But that's why
get pretty in there.
That's why I kept it in line. I was trying to just keep it in one vein, because I do agree from what Kiana said, some of what Bo said. We can go back and forth on who leads, who exudes a certain level of leadership ability, male or female. But in a relationship capacity, unless women are starting relationships, and to Pretty's comment earlier, well, she's just answering a question. No, ma'am, she is not just answering a question. She is responding to something that is going to expound based on her question. A relationship being presented to you is not just answering a question. It's committing to something. And to take away something as powerful as that, I don't understand how this is not understood. Men are leaders.
She was being disingenuous. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
If I ask you to be with me and you say yes, I am leader, that does not slide nor change. Now, unless a new agenda has occurred to where women are now starting relationships, they're going out of their way and they're asking men, will you be with me? Which I'm sure happens, but not in a full capacity, right? Then men is always leadership. And this is where I think things fall apart for me, and even hearing everybody discuss it, because then we apply corporate structure, hierarchy, which is patriarchal, by the way, and your achievements and all of these things. Those have nothing to do with relational leadership, in my opinion. That's why I presented it the way I did, and I'll land.
Yeah, I understand that, and your presentation is wrong because the fact of the matter is that no, it's still not.
Okay, you got it.
You are propositioning someone and they're deciding how to move forward with your proposition. You are not leader because you made a proposition and she accepted the dynamic of that relationship, and oftentimes that meant that y'all were following, right? So if you think about these traditional relationships that people talk about, the man brings home the bacon, the woman cooks it. A lot of men in those dynamics couldn't read. Their wives were the ones who filled out job applications. Their wives were the ones who...
When the hell did you have to be able to read to lead? What are you saying right now?
Handled the finances. They literally came home, gave her the check, and she did everything else.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
And he got to put on the hat and say, I'm a leader, because she allowed him to show that to the world when she was the one kind of moving the pieces in the background, right? So the fact of the matter is that that's not necessarily the case. I did want to comment. The reason why I actually raised my hand, I did want to comment.
So you know how crazy that is? Because technically what you're saying is that Donald Trump having an accountant that does all the things with his money and stuff like that, but all he do is sit there and do this with his face and say, you know, black people, and the very nice black people, they're so nice. Like him speaking like that and him having somebody else who doing all this stuff for him, he's not the leader because that person's doing that. Like, oh, we're both on the same page. We're both equal. No, we're not. We're not. Her position is important. That's what we'll say. It's important. But he's the one who did this. It was him. He's in charge. You're just a feminist that really want people to not believe you're following because it's something about them, something about feminists. They're not nice people. Not nice at all.
And also on the mustache man thing, I'm not so caught up in him being called a leader because unfortunately he used a tool that he had at his disposal, which was his ability to manipulate to get a bunch of people to follow him. So he was indeed a leader, right? In the aspect of doing that. But he led with maniacal narcissism and he ran a dictatorship.
That means nothing, what you just said. Just because he did that means nothing. He was still a leader. So what are you even saying right now?
Right? Those were the tools that he used to be able to do that successfully. And if anything, it proved